probably be my last video. Look at my backdrop. Isn't that amazing? So amazing. All right, so you saw my updates while I was there, but I couldn't do a whole lot because Dustin's anti anything. So I wanted to give you a quick rundown of how everything went and how everything went after also. So we are 1 week. Willow is 1 week old today. Oh, not quite. It's almost. I don't know what time it is. It's like after 2. So soon she'll be officially 1 week old. Okay, so we were supposed to be there at 6:30. Registration took forever. I probably didn't get into the room until 7. They checked me to see where I was at to know how we were going to proceed, and I was still pretty closed. So they started with Cervidil, and they wanted to give that 4 hours to work. So that's when I did my first little update while we were waiting for that to work. After 1 o'clock, they checked me, and I was still only at a 2 centimeters, and I was pretty bummed because I wanted the kids to be able to come. Make sure you guys can see her. I wanted the kids to be able to come later that day to see her, and they get off the bus at 3:23, and I'm like, oh, if I don't have her by 3:23, well, 3:21, 3:22, 3:23. I'm telling you, that's the time they get home. Like, if I don't have her by then they're not going to be able to come and see her. And I was pretty bummed because 2 centimeters at like 1:30 is not very good. So they started me on Pitocin. I'm like, if you're starting the Pitocin, you better give me my epidural because I hate Pitocin. So they did the Pitocin at 1:30, and then the anesthesiologist came in about a half hour later to give me the epidural. And that sucked. I did, gosh, sorry. Well, how am I going to do this? Maybe we'll do that. I did, now I lost my train of thought. I did all natural Jane and Birdie Haley. I tried an epidural for Kaysen. I went too fast. I did have an epidural for Ryder and Miles, so I know how great they are. But the anesthesiologist was having a really hard time getting it in the right spot. I think he poked me like 5 different times, and it took a half hour. And I was like, if this doesn't work this time, I'm done. Like, I will go back to doing it natural because that was not fun. But of course, we finally got it. So then they came in, like, that probably took seriously like a half hour. Finally got the epidural. They came in, they gave me like a peanut ball to rest my legs on, and it was a waiting game for about 10 minutes. And then I'm sitting there, Dustin ended up making a phone call. He's like, oh, we're probably gonna be waiting a while. So I don't know who he called somebody. And while he's on the phone, I'm like, oh, Dustin, my water just broke. My water just broke, Dustin. I've never had my water break naturally, and it broke, and that was like 2:45. So he goes out and gets them. They come in, and we want to make sure the fluid was clear, and it was, and like everything was soaked. So I helped, like, they changed the bedding and all of that. And then they left, and it was 3 o'clock. And that's when I did that update. They had just left. They just got me cleaned up. I said, it's 3 o'clock. So they checked me because my water broke, and I was at 5 centimeters. So that's when I did the update. I said 3 o'clock, I'm at 5 centimeters. They started Pitocin and my epidural. Like 5-10 minutes later, I had a contraction that I could feel. And I'm like, what the hell? I just went through all of that with the epidural, and now I can feel this contraction. Like, I'm not pleased. And then the next contraction came, like, wait, that feels like pressure. So I told Dustin, like, Dustin, and he kind of looks at me, and I've stared at him, he's staring at me. He's like, what? And I didn't want to say anything because I didn't think there was any possible way I was ready to push. Because, I mean, it was like 10 minutes later. So Miles moved, pissed her off. So I waited for the next one, and there was pressure. I'm like, you need to go get somebody. It's go time. So he goes out, and he gets them, and they come rushing in, and they're like, you having pressure? I said, yeah. And they're like getting everything ready, and I said, can I push? And they said, yeah, go for it. And like, they were getting ready. The midwife was putting her glove on, but like, she was like not near the bed. And Dustin was kind of near the bed. And when I said, can I push? And they weren't doing anything, Dustin's like, she's coming. As soon as I started pushing, you could see her crowding. So he started to get close to the bed because he didn't want me to push her out. And then the midwife like rushed over. I was like, oh my gosh. And she caught her, and Dustin didn't have to catch her. She was there with gloves on, but It's like, Dustin's like, if she's saying she's pushing, you better get your butt over here because she's coming. And I mean, it wasn't even a push. It was like a grunt. I'm not even kidding. It was nothing. And she was out, like seriously, all of her out, and laid on my belly. And usually when that happens, I'm just like, ugh, I don't want anything on me. I don't want anything touching me. I just need a minute. But I was not. I really wanted to see her. And I cried. I was crying. And I think the nurses and midwives just thought, I cried because of new babies. And that's not the case. I've never cried before. I just wanted my mom. She would always, she was in, with Jane and Birdie and Haley, she was in the room. Kaysen, she wasn't, because after Kaysen, she wasn't in the room anymore because she had to watch my other kids. But every time, she was just so proud of how good I birthed babies. It's so weird, but I'm like, she would have shit her pants at that one because it was like 5 seconds. And just the whole thing. I just wanted my mom. And I tried to keep it under wraps, but it was really hard for a little bit while she was on me to keep my emotions in check, because I don't like to cry in front of people, but here I am crying on YouTube like an idiot. It was pretty emotional. And then, so what I want to say, so then the kids came, they got to see her for a little bit. She didn't eat very good at first because she came out so fast. I hate that it's like blurry or the sun is shining. But anyways, because she came out so fast, she didn't get to clear out all the mucus. So for like the first day, she was very mucusy. She spit up a lot. If she ate, she spit it up. She lost weight. So she was born, and she was born at 3:23. Isn't that kind of cool? So the kids were able to come and see her that night. But they said she was 6 pounds, 8 ounces, 19 3/4 inches long. And by the time we left, by the time we got readmitted, which we had to go back, she was 5 pounds, 13 ounces. So she lost quite a bit of weight. So her bilirubin levels were elevated. And I wanted to go home Thursday because I don't need to stay in the hospital. And her bilirubin levels were in 9. So that's for jaundice. And they say if they get above a 12, then they get worried. But he was kind of worried at the 9. And I'm like, look, it's not at a 12 yet. I want to go home. Let me go home. I'll come back tomorrow and get her levels checked again. So that's what they did. And when we went back to get her levels checked again, they were up to 15. So they wanted us to go back in. So I took her back in Friday. And that's when when we weighed her and we found out she weighed 513. So I had to stay in the hospital Friday night and most of the day Saturday. And Saturday was the 11th. And it was officially a year and a half since my mom died on the 11th. And we were supposed to do Mother's Day for my mom on Saturday. But I couldn't because I was in the hospital. And that sucked. The whole weekend kind of really sucked until Mother's Day because I don't do good by myself. I don't do good in quiet. And being in a hospital with a sick baby. Oh, crap. That's when my mom would be there. Haley, all of her stuff that she went through, it was me and my mom. Dustin had to work. My mom was with me at all the appointments, whether it was in Pittsburgh, Erie, Wexford, any of them. Any hospital stays, she was there. And just being, like, with a newborn baby that was in an incubator by myself without my mom. And that's all I could think about because I was completely by myself. And with it being her 1.5-year anniversary and Mother's Day weekend, like, seriously. So it was rough. I was not happy. I mean, I'm so blessed I had Willow. Like, don't get me wrong. That was great. But being there by myself in that situation without my mom on Mother's Day weekend on her 1.5-year anniversary, like, It sucked. I kept calling it my own personal hell, and that's what it was. And I just wanted to, and I couldn't, the kids didn't even get time with her. When I got home Thursday night, they got to hold her and stuff. And then they all had to they got to hold her for like an hour and a half. And then it was bedtime. And I mean, between 6 children, that's not very much time. And then everyone had to go to school in the morning. So they didn't get to see her in the morning. And then we got the call that afternoon before they got home from school. And like Dustin's like, you want to wait till the kids get home? And I said, I don't, because I don't want to tell them goodbye. I don't want to leave. But I had to. So, yeah, so the kids didn't even get to see her. And like, she's 4 days old and they haven't even got to see her, really. I was just in a bad place. Was not happy. But I got to come home for Mother's Day. Thank goodness. Because if I had to stay another night, I don't even know. I don't know. But we are home now. I finally went to go see our PCP, which he is like my favorite. He's very old school, and he does not think there's an issue with her bilirubin, even if it is elevated, because everything else looks wonderful. They tried to measure her. Well, they did measure her. And at the hospital, they said she was 19 3/4. 3 different people measured her at the doctor's office, and they couldn't get her over 18 inches. So I think she's only 18 inches, not 19 3/4. And she's gained a little bit of weight back, but not much. She was at 515 yesterday. So, yeah, she's still a little peanut. But she's doing good. She's eating now, and her levels are down. So she is doing fantastic. It's just me and my emotions with my mom. So I was thinking while I was in the hospital with my own thoughts about my mom and stuff, about how I can make sure that Willow knows about my mom. Oh, I don't want to be blubbering this whole freaking time. But this is probably going to get me real good, so. And I was thinking how each of my kids have a part of my mom that the older kids, that I can see them. I can see my mom in them when they do stuff with the kids now. Like, my mom was so good at talking to kids and just asking them questions and like getting stories out of them that are like kind of crazy and funny, just by talking to them and asking them questions. And Jaden does that a lot. Jaden will take like Miles. Just the other day, she took Miles out to the swing set, and they were sitting up on the swing set, and she was just talking to him, asking him questions, and like he'd have these crazy answers, and she'd laugh, and she'd try to think of other questions to ask him. And she's good at talking to kids and getting like these crazy stories out of them. And then Haley loves to cook and like the imagination, like making little fairy huts and having this whole world and like this little fairy hut. Like, she's just so good at coming up with stuff off the top of her head, and has the crazy imagination. And my mom would do that. My mom did that with her all the time, like the little fairy houses and like a dirt pile when we went camping. Like, it was crazy. But Haley does that. Haley does that with Peanut, with my niece, with Ryder and Miles. Like, she does that kind of stuff all the time. And then baking with the kids. She always bakes with my littles, always. And my mom loved to bake and make concoctions with the kids. And then Brody, he will make sure that every kid has a turn and a ride on the 4-wheeler. And that was so my mom. Even in the summer when it's hot and he doesn't want to ride the 4-wheeler anymore and the kids still want to ride the wheeler, he will still take them around. Or even in the middle of winter when it's freezing out, but the kids want to ride the sled around, he will stay out there until they are done, so everybody gets to enjoy that and have that. And that was so my mom. So it's really cool to see how my older kids have traits that they're doing with the younger kids that my mom would usually do. And then my dad, if you knew my dad before my mom passed and you know him now, he's like a completely different grandparent. It is so weird. He used to bitch and complain about everything that mom wanted to do for the kids. Everything. They don't need the swim pool opened up this year. We don't need another trampoline. They don't need this. They don't need that. You don't need to make dinner. Just make hot dogs. Don't worry about this. Don't do that. And he does everything now and more. Like, oh, they need a trampoline. Let's get them a new trampoline. Or, hey, we better get them a basketball hoop. Oh, that basketball hoop's too short. Let's get a new basketball hoop. He just spoils them like crazy now, which was not the case before at all. And he does the dinners now, and it's just, it's taking all of us. Even like Dustin, like he wasn't big in like pushing the kids on the swing and doing stuff before. Like my mom, if the kids wanted to swing, they knew they could ask grandma, and grandma would take them swinging. Even when everybody else said no, even if grandma didn't want to, grandma would still take them swinging. And like Dustin does that. Dustin plays with them all the time when we're out there now. And it's taken our whole family to pick up the pieces so that the kids can have like the same things that they had when mom was here. It takes all of us. But we don't do near as a good job as mom. But at least I can see pieces of mom and everybody, and that's pretty cool. And I don't, gosh, I hope Willow knows. She'll know. Okay, I gotta stop because I would get real emotional. But yeah, there's Miss Willow. It's been crazy, but we're done. Willow's here. All is well. I don't know if I'll keep up these videos. It was kind of weird sharing everything and like having people know everything, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I said that in the videos. I mean, it was cool, but it's kind of weird. But yeah, I'm glad I did it. And like seeing this review, oh, the song at the very beginning, that's the song that helped us decide her name, and that's Dustin singing it, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll keep updating. I don't know. But I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I have it. And yeah, that's a wrap. Okay. It's here. The labor vlog is here. We had to be here by 6:30. It is almost 10:30 by the time we got in, got everything hooked up, ready to go. They checked me at like 8:30 and I'm still not really dilated, so that kind of sucks. So they started me on medicine to see what happens, and they'll probably check me around lunchtime to see how much progress I've had. Quick update, Dustin just went pee. It's 3 o'clock. I'm 5 centimeters. My water just broke. I have the epidural and Pitocin. That's it.
To her mama and her daddy, she's the best thing ever made. To the boys round here, she's the one that got away. To the bird on the barbed wire, that girl looks like spring. To a guy like me, she looks like everything. Gray sky painted blue. She can put the smooth in the 90 proof. She can hang a moon in a sundress, even put a sinner on a front pew. She can make a shining diamond out of West Virginia coal. She can put a smile on a weeping willow. There's something in the way that girl moves. It's like a spotlight follows her through a crowded room.
Mom's having a baby.
She showed up like rain on a desert road.
There is
where I I'd be without her, God only knows. That girl can take a gray sky, paint it blue. She can put the smooth in the 90 proof. She can hang a moon in a sundress, even put a center on a front pew. She can make a shining diamond out of West Virginia coal. She can put a smile on a weeping willow. She can put a smile on a weeping willow. That girl can take a gray sky, paint it blue. She can put the smooth in the 90 proof. She can hang the moon in a sundress, even put a center on a front pew. She can make a shining diamond out of West Virginia coal. She can put a smile on a weeping willow. She can put a smile on a weeping willow. Weeping willow.
Is she okay?
Yeah, she's just really tired, but that's real good.
I'd go away. No.
Open up.
Stop. Mom, look at that.
Is it good?
He just got spilled more sugar out of it. He just got spilled more sugar out of it. Why is he pat your face?
He's swishing.
Are you going
He's swishing whipped cream. Yes.
I don't think Joe's as bad as everybody says it is.